Thousands of new homes in central London are being sold in overseas auctions before being advertised to UK buyers. This has helped fund a wave of developments that are underpinning a recovery in the construction market. But what does it all mean for the domestic buyer already struggling to get on the London property ladder? Well, our property correspondent Ed Hammond joins me now to talk about it. Ed, this swing away from domestic buyers is usually seen in the high-end luxury side of the market. What's going on right now?
It's very true. Usually we see this, as you say, at the top of the market, and that's a sort of long-standing tradition. Not just Asian buyers, buyers sort of all nationalities come in at the very high end. What we're seeing now that's new and perhaps slightly more concerning is that this is the mid-market. So this is the average sort of 200,000 up to maybe £600,000 or £700,000 new build property. And they're coming in huge numbers, and the thing that seems to be driving it is that a lot of the developers are actually going over there before they've taken the schemes out in the UK and marketed them, before they've even built some of the schemes, and they're having huge success with these foreign buyers. Now, it's important to note that this is a different kind of foreign buyer. So this is much more the sort of maybe newly moneyed middle class in places like China, middle class people in Singapore, middle class people in Malaysia. And for a lot of them, this is maybe their first and maybe their only overseas asset purchase.
Now, this practice of buying off plan is already quite common in Asia, but why are properties that are being built in London being offered to Asian buyers before they're being offered to UK buyers?
Well, this is a really important point. I mean, the developers will tell you this is essentially a funding mechanism. They cannot get bank finance to do speculative development. That has been the case really since late 2007, 2008, when the world kind of went down, and development finance has always been quite risky and banks are very averse to doing it. So what they're saying is they actually need to be able to go and sell these things off plan, so they get contracts and they get financial commitments up front before they've even put a brick on the ground. That means when they start building, the risk is minimal because they've already guaranteed they're going to be getting the construction costs at the very least through the door.
Now, is the number of houses being sold to overseas buyers, I mean, is there a danger that that's going to distort the market even further and push up prices for those people in the UK who are desperately trying to get onto the ladder?
That's the politicians' argument, certainly, and I think this is a very easy one for politicians to go after. You could make the case very obviously that selling lots of London homes overseas is bad for London, as it keeps them off the ladder, it pushes up prices, it distorts the market, because you're not dealing with the economic fundamentals of the domestic buyer, you're dealing with the economic fundamentals of somewhere the other side of the world. In reality, the developers wouldn't be able to build these schemes if it wasn't for the overseas buyers. So actually, although the overseas buyers might be taking 50, 60, even 70% of some of these schemes, it still means there's more houses in London than there would otherwise be. Now, if you look at the basic principle of it, more houses should mean that house prices fall because there's more stock in the market and therefore supply is greater. That is the argument that developers put forward. Obviously, the politicians would bang a slightly different drum. But at the moment, I think what we're seeing is that prices are not being driven up because of this, but that may happen over time if the development supply slows down but is still weighted towards the overseas market.
OK, Ed, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.